November 9th blows in cold. It is the same cold wind that blew disappointment into my season in the last episode. Caleb and Taylor Byers greet the morning in a stand overlooking a small clearing on the farm where both Nemo and the giant non-typical called the goat are living.
It's just been one of those seasons where if it can go wrong, it will go wrong for us. And when you set hundreds and hundreds of hours in a stand, and then when you get the moment of truth and that happens right there, I know it definitely takes it out of you. But luckily I had my bow at the base of the tree, so we climbed down and kind of swapped positions, so we would just kind of bail out of here and get her bow sighted in. But on a day when it's this windy, I think that's going to be pretty much a waste of time. So we'll just sit tight and hopefully he either comes back by or we have another buck stroll by and we can get on the board for this season.
We'll come back for the conclusion of Caleb and Taylor's hunt shortly. Meanwhile, 140 miles to the east, despite perfect conditions, the day is unproductive for Jared as he hunts his new farm.
It's about 3:15 and it's been a cold sit so far. That northwest wind is just pounding me in this tree. It was pretty slow, and then all of a sudden, just like a light switch, I had deer running everywhere. I was just doing circles in this tree trying to get the camera on them in time, and they're just running across the CRP. I think there's a hot doe out there. It's a good sign for the rest of the evening.
My afternoon is no better as I spend it in a redneck blind in a valley on the south end of the Lone Oak Bucks Range, the same deer I messed up that very morning. The other one is still up in the brush. We ended up seeing a decent number of deer down here at the tube. Tomorrow we're going to go back after the Lone Oak buck again. I'm sure you would have imagined that. We weren't going to take that defeat lying down. I don't think he was spooked very bad. I I believe that if a hot doe goes through there, or if he thinks there's one there someplace, he's going to come through again. It's just that time of the year. Hunting length stabilizers like the Fuse Carbon Torch FX help us to balance our bows so they jump straight forward at the shot, and the new custom front dampener reduces vibration and shot noise. Plus, they just look cool with their custom color options. One of the biggest challenges we face when planting food plots is getting larger seeds, like soybeans, in the ground at the proper depth. Doing this requires a drill or planter. You can't just throw them out in hope. This is one of the strengths of the RTP Genesis seeder. It plants large seeds at the perfect depth for consistent germination and a solid stand. Interestingly, once the deer get used to a blind in a certain field, you can move it at will and they won't react to the new location. This permits us to fine-tune our blind locations as the season advances, and nothing makes this easier than fitting a redneck blind with a redneck trailer stand and pulling it from place to place with your truck or ATV. For more than 40 years, Wasp Archery has been making durable and dependable broadheads. They set the standard for the industry when they invented the first replaceable blade broadhead in 1972. This family-owned brand is built on a generation of innovation and continues to be made right here in the United States. Wasp offers a broadhead model for every style of bow hunting. Check them out at wasparchery.com. As the afternoon wears on, Caleb and Taylor Byers struggle to stay warm against the single-digit wind chills during their all-day sit.
Well, it's about 4:15, and we're absolutely froze to death, but we got about an hour and 15 minutes left. Not a lot to speak for of this afternoon, but that buck could cruise by at any time, and the buck we're after, that we call Nemo, has been a no-show, but it would be awesome if he come cruising through this hedge thicket and then went down into this draw looking for does. So we'll keep shivering away and hopefully a giant walks by.
Just past sunset, Caleb's season pivots on a dime.
Right here, giant. We just had an absolute giant come through. We heard him rustling around in the corn back here. And he came through, gave me a perfect shot. And I hit him low. I hit him low. The only thing I can hope is I punched the bottom of his heart, but I think he just crashed. I think he just crashed. Please, Lord. If I indeed did get him, I'm talking an absolute giant. Please, Lord, be a vital shot. Oh my God. Well, it's the next day and we're back on blood, in good blood. He's gone a long ways, but we kind of expected that. We're actually onto the neighboring property now. We left our bow back across the fence, and hopefully it's a fatal hit and he's not going to be that far. We're just gonna, we have good blood, we're just gonna keep following it, and hopefully there's happiness at the end of the blood trail.
After trailing the giant buck for several hundred yards, Caleb runs out of blood. Over the course of the next 2 days, the bow hunter and a number of his friends spend 20 hours looking for another drop. Finally satisfied that the goat has survived the low hit, Caleb gives up the pursuit. Then, after pulling photos from a nearby camera, Caleb is shocked to find images of the buck from the evening of the 10th, the day after he hit him. Assuming the goat survived, Caleb now resumes hunting, keeping a close eye on his cameras for more signs of the giant. Ozonics devices electronically change oxygen molecules into ozone molecules, which are unstable. As they rain down from the Ozonics unit, these unstable oxygen molecules try to stabilize by grabbing carbon molecules wherever they can find them. Human odor is primarily carbon-based, so the ozone eats up the scent molecules as the two gases mix in the airstream downwind of your stand. Unsure of his hit, and with marginal blood, Caleb Byers utilizes his Cabela's Alaskan Guide headlamp. The 70 lumen output allows him to assess his odds and make the call to back out and wait until the morning to resume his search for this giant buck. Realtree makes 12 different styles of their famous and highly functional easy hanger. You can find one that is perfect for holding your bow close at hand, stowing your gear, or positioning a video camera where you can easily capture your hunt. There's even a model that allows you to quickly attach a trail camera to a tree. Being able to thread an arrow through small openings can pay off in venison. For whitetail hunting, I like a sturdy arrow weighing roughly 5.5 to 6 grains per pound of your bow's maximum draw force. This produces quiet shooting and good penetration, but still permits a reasonably flat trajectory for shooting through openings. Easton's FMJ arrows fit this requirement perfectly. 40 miles to the east, I head back to the bedding ridge with the hope of redeeming yesterday's failure. I'm back on that same bedding ridge that I hunted yesterday when we spooked the lone oak buck. We're about 40 yards, 45 yards from that tree stand where we were trying to hunt him. The wind is different today. It's more from the southeast. Yesterday it was kind of north, more or less straight north. So all we've done is just move to the other side of the top of this ridge. He was spooked, no doubt, but I don't think he was spooked bad. And if we get a hot doe in this bedding area, I guarantee you that buck is going to be on the move. They just can't resist that stuff. He's going to forget about seeing Drake on the ground yesterday immediately if he smells a hot doe. So that's what we're hoping for. And that's what we're hoping for every day when we come out here and hunt during the rut, is that we've got a hot doe someplace nearby. It's a beautiful morning. Gosh, it's just perfect, classic November 10th rut hunting morning. We're going to wait, see if the old lone oak buck makes a reappearance today. While I'm waiting for the lone oak buck to come past, 180 miles to the east, in central Illinois, Jim Ferguson is also taking advantage of the same perfect morning.
morning, November 10th, and Matt and I are back in here after it. We had a northeast wind today, so last night, kind of when we were game planning the situation, any kind of easterly wind isn't too great for a lot of our sets. But this farm, we knew this plot here is starting to draw a lot of action from some card pulls. But right at first light, somebody flipped a switch on for this plot, and here came all the deer. The does and fawns were in here big time, but they were right on top of us, so we couldn't even move. We weren't able to do, a pre-interview like we like to kind of lay the groundwork for our hunt. And I didn't even have my bow in my hand yet. I stood up to ask Matt if he wanted to do an interview quick, and he told me not to move. So there was a small buck moving through, and no more did that little buck get through this plot. We started hearing some grunting coming, so I grabbed my bow. And Matt saw him first and he let me know, hey, it's one of the shooters. So I saw him putting a scrape down here at some Russian olive, and he started scent checking the south end of this timber here we're sitting in, scent checking for does. And I stopped him. He offered us a great 25-yard shot, and he ran off here. Looks like he's probably not going to be much of a track job, so that's a good deal. But all these deer are getting into this plot here. It's kind of a mixture. It's pure trophy clover, big and beastie, and then some oats that we came in here in the early fall and overseeded to try to save some of it from the drought. And it's definitely paid off because there's a good choice for us today. There he is, bud. Dude, he's got mass. Just an old warrior of a buck. He's got a broken G4 there. And my buddy Tom, this is his farm, he saw him chasing a doe actually behind his house yesterday afternoon and told me about it. So this is one of the we've had on trail camera on this farm. One of the many good bucks running around here. He just really has a lot of cool mass, a lot of cool character. I'm really blessed and fortunate to have an opportunity on a deer like this and harvest him. So November 10th, definitely time here to be in the woods anywhere around probably the Midwest, but for sure here in central Illinois, it's happening. There's deer running around everywhere, and it's really fun right now to be in the woods.
Nothing beats a small plot for setting up close encounters. Jim Ferguson's food plot, consisting of a mix of frigid forage big and beastie and pure trophy clover, drew deer all morning long. Eventually, a shooter entered the south end of the plot and worked within bow range, offering the perfect 25-yard shot. Hoyt has been a standard of the bow hunting community for more than a generation. Each year, the company designs bows that are more accurate and more dependable than the year before. Redworks is their most recent offering to carry on this legendary standard. Nikon offers a wide range of optics for the hunting community. From laser rangefinders to scopes and binoculars, the technology they put into their products has always been cutting edge. We depend on Nikon for non-stop performance regardless of weather or light conditions. Staying comfortable and hydrated through long, sweaty days requires a class-leading cooler, one that can take the abuse of life in a pickup bed and still hold ice for days. That is why American-made Grizzly coolers go with us on every scouting trip. My morning ends without a hot doe coming past, luring the lone oak buck into making a mistake. During this part of the season, bucks don't cruise much. If you're near a hot doe, it will seem like the rut is firing on all cylinders. If you aren't, it will seem like the rut has blown a gasket. My season is leaking oil now with my number one buck spooked. Caleb Byers is losing sleep, kicking himself for expecting the goat to drop at the sound of the shot. And Jared and Mike are working hard to put the puzzle together on their new farm. There's plenty of time left for our fortunes to change, but 2 solid weeks into the rut, our childlike enthusiasm has given way to a more workmanlike approach. We are hunting smart and putting in the time. We know the routine. The days seem to get longer, and the nights seem to get shorter. Our resolve hardens. As Caleb's hunt showed us once again, the entire season can change with a single crunching leaf. That knowledge is enough to fuel our determination. That hope is what keeps us chasing November.